Talk 2, Hunting Pressures, a critical threat to vulture survival. Hello everyone, welcome back to our series, Saving the Scavengers Understanding Vulture Population Decline. I'm your host, Uzoamaka Ike. Last time we discussed the fascinating world of vultures, how important they are as nature's cleanup crew, protecting human health and the environment. We learned how crucial these magnificent birds are to ecosystems, especially here in Africa, and how their declining numbers are becoming a major conservation concern. Today, we'll focus on a serious issue that threatens their very survival: hunting. When we think of hunting, vultures might not be the first animals to come to mind, but sadly, they're facing intense pressure from direct and indirect hunting activities. Let's dive deeper into this topic and see how hunting impacts vulture populations. I know some will be asking, why are vultures hunted? First, let's ask ourselves, why would anyone hunt vultures? Unlike elephants or rhinos, vultures don't have ivory or horns. Unfortunately, vultures have become targets for several troubling reasons. First is traditional medicine and beliefs. In parts of Africa, including Nigeria and South Africa, vultures are often hunted due to traditional beliefs. Their body parts, particularly their heads, eyes, and feet, are used in traditional medicine. Some believe vulture parts can grant powers like clairvoyance, good luck, and protection from evil. Sadly, these unfounded beliefs persist, fueling a black market for vulture parts. The second reason is poisoning by poachers. Another tragic reason vultures are hunted isn't even because people want them. It's because of what they do. Poachers, trying to cover their tracks, deliberately poison elephant or rhino carcasses. Why? Because vultures circling above act like nature's alarm system, giving away poaching sites to rangers and law enforcement. So the poachers silence the snitchers. The vultures aren't the targets, but they pay the price. One poisoned carcass can kill dozens or even hundreds of vultures in one day, creating devastating impacts. These practices, although illegal, continue because they're embedded in traditions or profitable poaching activities. What are the consequences of hunting on vulture populations? The impact of hunting on vultures is catastrophic, both ecologically and genetically. Let's break it down clearly. Rapid population decline. Now let's talk about something most people don't realize. Vultures grow up slowly and make babies even slower. They mature late, they produce very few offspring, and when they're hunted or poisoned, it can take decades for their numbers to bounce back, if they bounce back at all. Their slow reproductive rate is one of the main reasons vultures are so vulnerable. When a single poisoned carcass wipes out dozens, the damage is not just immediate, it's long-lasting. Let me break it down for you. 1 chick a year, or less. Vultures are not your farm chicken. Most vultures lay only 1 egg per breeding season. Some, like the Cape vulture or white-backed vulture, might only breed every 2 years if food or conditions are poor. Slow and steady parenting. The egg takes 45 to 60 days to hatch, and even after that, the chick stays in the nest for 4 to 6 months before it's ready to fly. During all this time, the parents are fully committed, nurturing just that 1 chick. Late bloomers. Vultures don't even reach breeding age until they're about 5 to 7 years old. That means any loss in adult birds has a huge ripple effect on the entire population. So now, you can see why the decline in vulture numbers is such a big problem. When it comes to vultures, every life counts, because bringing just 1 more into the world takes time, care, and a whole lot of luck. Another consequence of hunting on vulture populations is the loss of ecological balance. With fewer vultures, carcasses remain unbeaten, attracting scavengers like feral dogs and rats. This, in turn, increases the risks of disease transmission to humans and livestock. We saw a clear example of this crisis in Asia, which led to increased cases of rabies due to vulture declines. The third consequence is genetic bottlenecks. Hunting reduces genetic diversity within vulture populations, weakening their resilience against diseases and environmental stressors. Over time, this can significantly threaten their survival. Simply put, losing vultures to hunting isn't just a wildlife issue. It's an ecological and public health crisis waiting to happen. Real-life examples and case studies. You can take your time to look at this graph after the talk. Fig 5a. Graphical representation of vulture population at different rates of hunting methods. 3 hunting methods, gun, trap, and poisoning, were analyzed to determine their impact on vulture populations. Gun and poisoning exhibited equally severe effects, significantly reducing populations compared to trapping. At the current hunting rate, vultures could decline dramatically from 8,100 to 1,125 by 2063. Eliminating hunting entirely allows populations to rebound to approximately 13,500 by 2063. A controlled hunting rate of 1% maintains a steady-state population level. Let's examine real examples from research. We observed troubling declines in vulture populations near protected areas. Here's what we found. Communities near wildlife reserves reported deliberate poisoning incidents targeting vultures, particularly white-backed and Cape Griffin vultures. Local markets often sold vulture parts secretly, despite strict laws. Wildlife crime reports confirmed poachers were deliberately killing vultures to hide evidence of elephant and rhino poaching. These actions directly resulted in mass vulture mortalities. Interviews with community members revealed significant misinformation and superstition about vultures, driving demand for traditional uses. These examples illustrate how hunting and poisoning pose immediate threats to vultures, emphasizing the urgency for effective intervention. Conservation efforts and solutions. Thankfully, there is hope. Awareness and dedicated conservation efforts from me and you can significantly reduce hunting threats to vultures. Education and awareness. Communities need awareness programs highlighting vultures' ecological value, correcting misconceptions that drive hunting for traditional medicine. That's why conservationists and authorities need to step up, strengthening anti-poaching patrols and ramping up anti-poisoning efforts. One powerful ally in this fight? Dogs. Yes, dogs. Specially trained detection dogs can sniff out poisoned carcasses fast, often before other animals arrive. And that quick response? It can save dozens of vultures in one swoop. Stronger enforcement and tougher laws against vulture hunting and illegal wildlife trade are essential. Communities should be involved and incentivized to protect vultures, rather than exploit them. Together, education, awareness, and enforcement can lead to real, lasting changes for vultures and communities alike. So today, we've discussed how hunting directly threatens vultures, why it happens, and what we can do to prevent it. Vultures are not just part of nature. They're critical protectors of human health and ecological balance. Next time, we'll talk about another major threat facing vultures: food shortages and habitat loss. How does shrinking habitat, cutting down of trees and clearing bushes, and lack of food affect these incredible birds? Stay tuned to find out. Thank you for listening, and remember, protecting vultures means protecting ourselves. See you in the next talk. Join me next session to understand another critical challenge vultures face: food shortages and habitat loss. Let's discover how shrinking natural resources, trees, forest, and food impact vulture survival. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.